All right, folks, I'm back. I'm gonna process some yucca and with my little bone knife here. I like this one the best. I don't have any stone points or stones to work with. I actually process it with the bone knife and a stick. Now this bone knife is definitely. I mean, I sharpen this on the grinder. You know, I think it's something that you could do with stone. You know, if you were out somewhere and you were doing the pure primitive bushcrafting type of a thing, I'm not. You know, I like the idea that it can be done. I'll work with that later, but this is definitely done on a belt sander. But I like it. It's the right for me with this. It's the right sharpness. Not too sharp, but sharp enough. Now, what I found interesting is that what am I trying to say here? When I looked online at how to do this, I saw that you pound this first with this stick I'm gonna use. But instead, after experimenting a couple times, I found I have more luck with actually cutting it first and then pounding apart the fiber, because you're trying to get an end product that looks something a little bit more like this. And I'm by no means an expert, but this is much more separated. And when I was pounding it first, it was coming apart too much at first. So you'll just see when I go about how it's working for me and all that. So I just kind of working it like that. And in fact, it was easiest for me to work it coming towards me. And the bone knife just did really well because, if I tried, I don't remember whether I tried metal, but I think it would cut, too quickly below the first layer of material on this plant into the fibers. And while the fibers are strong, I mean, they're not strong enough to hold up to steel. And I want to say that the steel would cut too quickly, but I want to say also that the stone, I was having trouble with the stone too. So bone turned out to be real cool. And see all that little stringy stuff in there is actually the fiber that you're trying to get to. Alright, so we've got one side kind of stripped of the outer layer. And I was working all the way back to the end here, and I may do that later, but just to save time for what we're doing. This kind of using this little wooden piece of board here. I went to Mali and saw some guys called Garange leather workers using the board as a little desk. They would just set up and sit, you know, where they were sitting, and they would work on the little board. And I just thought it was great. You know, it was like a portable little table that even if you're on the ground, you don't have a seat or whatever, you can just work like that. So I kind of adopted that process. So obviously, you know, a lot of these type of skills are relevant to people trying to do bushcraft things, trying to do survival things outside without much. So you wouldn't necessarily have a table. I don't know how you would improvise this, but the basic idea, you know, you can see this is obviously not a table. I mean, I'm on a kind of a flat surface. This here is obviously not a table, so it's already a semi-improvised thing. But I imagine that you could improvise something similar, something that would work the same with just what you have in nature. So you can see how we're getting down to just the fiber. All right, so I'm just gonna finish this out. You got kind of a good look, and I'll come back and show you how I separate the material, and then braid it in, attach it to this here, so you get a long piece. This is already, you know, pretty long. I don't know how much I can show you, but yeah. All right, cool.